Hello, I'm Rufus and welcome to their Minecraft Bedrock tutorial. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a flawless creeper farm in Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This is a new design for 1.21 and was developed in conjunction with ORA and Mycomer. So if you're looking for a great source of gunpowder for your survival world, come along, you're in for a treat. In June, I posted a video showing you how to build a simple creeper farm for new versions of Minecraft Bedrock Edition. That farm was designed with the typical player in mind. It was easy to build, efficient, and based on good mechanics. It has received a lot of positive feedback, with players appreciating its simplicity and efficiency. If you have not watched that video, I'll post a link to it down below. Now in that video, I said keep an eye on my channel, and ORA's and Mycomer's, because we were developing new methods to optimize creeper farms for 1.21. Well, we did it. We actually did it. We've actually managed to create a flawless creeper farm for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This is the Zero Waste Creeper Farm. I call it Zero Waste because there are no wasted blocks in this design. Every block is either spawnable or part of a drop shaft. First, this farm has a high-density spawning layout thanks to ORA's Decaboko platform design. That's the uneven or wavy structure to each floor. This irregular structure allows us to block spider spawns without losing spawn spots. I've improved upon ORA's design by using mud, and this is the latest innovation in creeper farms. Mud is a spawnable block and allows us to increase block density around drop shafts. This in turn gives us flexibility to locate drop shafts wherever we want. For the Zero Waste Creeper Farm, using mud allows me to place drop shafts near the center of the farm. This produces a faster killing time while maintaining a spawning density of 97%. This farm uses 8 drop shafts, but could conceivably use more or less depending on the builder's needs. Between Decaboko platforms, mud, dropstone, advanced trident killers, and even grass paths and ice, we now have all the mechanics in place to create optimal creeper farms. The only thing left is trying out different shapes and deciding the right balance between build cost and gunpowder production. Today, I will show you a version of the Zero Waste Creeper Farm that uses dropstone mechanics to kill creepers without the need for redstone or tridents. This is enough for nearly every player and makes the farm suitable for placement near a base where it can be active all the time. Now, if you want to use redstone and a trident killer with this farm, Mycomer has created a really awesome trident killer for use with this farm. And once he creates a tutorial for this trident killer, I'll add a link to it below. As I said earlier, this farm uses ORA's Decaboko platform design. This irregular or wavy design allows creepers to spawn on every block in the farm. A limitation of this design is that creepers will not pathfind through coral fans when they're at head height. However, if a creeper is standing on mud, they sink down just a little bit, allowing them to pathfind through coral fans. Mud also corrects how they pathfind over a drop chute, making them fall straight down instead of ending up on a lower platform. While you could conceivably build the entire farm out of mud, I've chosen to only use it in the most essential locations. If you want the best rates, build the creeper farm above a frozen ocean biome. However, that is only useful if you're planning long overnight AFK sessions. Most players should build this farm near their base in a plains or similar biome. Now, creepers do not spawn in every biome, and you will want to avoid rivers, frozen rivers, mangrove swamps, snowy plains, and snowy mountains. The Zero Waste Creeper Farm can use either dropstone or trident killers to kill creepers. If you are unfamiliar with the term dropstone, it refers to killing mobs by dropping them onto pointed dripstone. A single tower of the Zero Waste Creeper Farm will make around 24 stacks of gunpowder per hour in ideal conditions. 2 towers will make around 43 stacks of gunpowder per hour. If you use trident killers, double these rates. So that's around 5,500 gunpowder per hour for 2 towers running at full speed with trident killers. Now, the 2 tower farm is easy to build, but doesn't produce as much gunpowder as a true semi-split density design with extra surface spawning platforms. Both ORA and I have designs that get around 7,000 gunpowder per hour, so there is still clearly room to improve the rates of the zero waste creeper farm on Sim 4. A single tower does not require any special chunk alignment. You can build it and its AFK spot at any convenient location. However, a double tower farm uses semi-split density mechanics, and this does require chunk alignment. Because precise placement is a concern for the double tower farm, the rest of this tutorial will assume that you will want to eventually have a double tower farm. First, you want to identify a 17 by 96 area for the farm. This area should be a strip of 6 chunks with 1 extra block along the side. Don't forget to light up the surface around this area, as well as any caves underground. If you forget to light up this area, mobs will spawn on the surface or in the caves and decrease the rates of this farm. If you're not familiar with chunks and how to find them, I'll post a link in the description to more information. These 2 blocks mark the middle of this 17 by 96 area, and the AFK location is going to be above the middle of these 2 blocks along a chunk border. From the AFK location, you want to move 32 blocks or 2 chunks and mark the locations of the 8 drop shafts for this tower. I've gone ahead and marked them in yellow. As you can see, the drop shafts alternate every other block and are on the edge of a chunk. If your tower is south of your AFK spot, as mine is here, your drop shafts should be along the north edge of a chunk, directly south of a chunk border. An equivalent layout should be used for other directions. We're going to start by building storage under every drop shaft. You will want to place down a double chest, a hopper, another double chest, and another hopper. Repeat this 7 more times. I'm using 8 sets of chests for collection because it is rather easy and will allow you to detect if there are any issues with parts of the farm. Eventually, you may want to connect up the chest into a central storage using either hopper lines or waterlogged dripstone and water streams. On top of each hopper, we are going to place pointed dripstone. If you do not have access to dripstone, you can still follow this tutorial. However, you will need to skip building the lowest 4 spawning levels until you find dripstone. Next, we are going to use glass to build up 11 blocks from this chest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Continue building like this until you have surrounded the drop shaft with glass. I am using glass here because I like to be able to see the creepers fall onto the pointed dripstone. When you are done surrounding the drop shaft, add 2 more blocks at the top like this. Repeat this for every drop shaft, placing an extra block on the spaces between drop shafts. Because we're using dropstone in this design, we don't have to worry about delivering or getting rid of XP. This simplifies our design and makes it usable without a specific AFK spot. When you finish, your layout should look a bit like this. If done right, there will be 10 blocks of space between the top of the pointed dripstone and the bottom of the lowest spawning rows. Next, we're going to place mud like so to begin our lowest spawning rows. We will also place coral fans over the drop shafts to trick mobs into walking into them. You do need to use coral fans here, as buttons and trapdoors will not work. Next, we're going to build out 7 blocks from each mud block. You can use any spawnable block here. If you are not sure if the block that you want to use is spawnable, test it out in creative. If you did it right, the rows will be 17 blocks long, including the mud blocks and coral fans. If you're having trouble finding coral fans, you can generate them by bone milling dirt in any body of water, even rivers and player-made pools. The biome does not matter. And if you cannot find any mud in your world, you can always create it with a bit of dirt and a bottle of water. After we finish building the lower rows, we're going to build the upper rows by placing 17 stone blocks like so. And our first spawning floor will look like this. There are 8 lower rows and 9 upper rows. The lower rows have mud and coral fans in the middle, while the upper rows have solid blocks. The total size of this floor is 17 by 17. Next, we are going to build the second floor 2 blocks above the first floor, keeping with the Decaboko design. For the lower rows, we're going to use 8 stone blocks, a gap, then 8 more stone blocks. We will not use coral fans on this level. For the upper rows, we're going to use 7 stone blocks, 3 mud blocks, and then 7 more stone blocks. When you finish, the second spawning floor should look like this. The lower rows have an air gap in the middle, while the upper rows have 3 mud blocks in the middle. The total size of this floor is also 17 by 17. When viewed from the side, your bottom 2 floors should look like this. Next, we're going to place trapdoors and buttons at head height to block mobs other than creepers from spawning. For the higher rows, we will place 8 buttons, then a trapdoor next to the drop shaft, then 8 more buttons. Placing trapdoors next to the drop shafts helps us keep the creepers in the drop shafts when they are falling. For the lower rows, we will start by placing a trapdoor next to the drop shaft, 2 buttons, another trapdoor, 2 more buttons, a third trapdoor, and then a final button. Repeat this on the other side. We use trapdoors on the lower rows to prevent spiders from spawning on the neighboring blocks. When viewed from the side, the pattern should look like this. Next, repeat these patterns for the rest of the upper and lower rows. If you are wondering why we use extra trapdoors above the lower rows, they prevent spiders from spawning on the upper rows. Continue building floors, alternating the layouts as shown here. The odd number floors should have coral fans and mud on the lower rows. The even number floors should have mud on the upper rows and no coral fans. You will want to build 12 floors in total. Don't forget to add buttons and trapdoors above each floor. Every floor will use the same patterns of buttons and trapdoors that was shown earlier. Above the 12th floor, you will want to place the buttons and trapdoors on slabs, glass, or another non-spawnable block. You can also use trapdoors with no supporting block, as I did in my previous video. Once all the floors are completed, we will next build a roof above the farm so mobs will spawn during the daytime. Starting with a slab, you will want to build up 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and place a solid block. Next, we will build a 17 by 17 roof to cover the tower. Building the roof above the tower this high will prevent mobs that spawn in the tower from trying to pathfind to the roof. I would like to thank ORA for pointing this trick out to me for improving mob pathfinding. We are using solid blocks here so that the top floor of our farm has cave spawns. If you want surface spawns instead, you can build a roof out of leaves and use glass instead of slabs above the top floor. Next, we are going to complete the roof by building out 8 blocks in every direction. When we finish, the roof will look like this, with 5 torches providing enough light to prevent spawns from happening on the roof. Because you may be building the zero waste creeper farm on uneven ground or with a different amount of storage, I will show you how to locate the best AFK position relative to the farm itself. First, you want to go to the center of the 5th platform. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and add 1 more block. Next, we want to go 24 blocks out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 22, 23, and 24. and place a slab on top of this. If done right, you will be next to a chunk border and above the AFK location we identified earlier. When you AFK, you will want to stand on the middle of these two slabs like this. And with that, we have 2 towers of the zero waste creeper farm completed. Block for block, this is the best creeper farm available for Minecraft Bedrock Edition. While it contains all the mechanics and tricks needed to optimize creeper farms, we can still tweak the shape to squeeze a bit more out of the design. While you can always make a farm bigger to get more spawns in Bedrock Edition, I'm more interested in improvements that produce more spawns without costing too much time to build. Some possible improvements include adding surface spawns to the towers, adding extra surface spawning platforms, adding more spawning platforms, changing the layout to something other than 17 by 17, maybe even removing some blocks to increase the percentage of the farm that is in separate density areas. If you try any of these potential improvements, please let us know in the comments what worked for you. If you like this video and want to see more Minecraft content, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Rufus, thanks for watching.